Hi everyone. Uh, there are some new updates coming to the Helium, so I'm going to talk about it later once we have some people coming in here. I'm here to just answer any questions you guys have regarding your setup, your antenna, your location, anything that I can help with. I've seen a lot of people in the Discord are, they're fairly new to the Helium network and everything, and I assume that they just have all these questions coming and popping. So I just want to give you the shortcuts sort of thing, if that makes any sense. So if you have your own hotspot that you want me to look into, what kind of antennas you're thinking of, uh, your ideal setup, which I'll talk about it in a minute, and then from there you can kind of drive on top of it. So the ultimate setup is having the highest elevation, an external antenna, and your hotspot connected to Ethernet so that you are getting the maximum kind of access to internet. So, and your location is actually has a good line of sight to the network, the Helium network you want to connect to. So elevation doesn't mean you have to go put 100 meters or something like that. No, because there will be some cable loss. So as long as you reach to an elevation that you can see the other networks, that's the best part. And I'll be showing some examples for you kind of imagine it. I have some other videos that I use tools, and these tools can be found on helium.com. When you press or click on, was it Explorer? No, it's on, where is it? Who uses Helium? They've changed this. So let me just take a look. Yeah. So who uses Helium? So this is a very good tool in terms of if you want to get your idea of how your hotspot should look like. And the ones you should look at or pay attention to are the ones that I'm going to share with you right now. Just let me find it. Ba-da-dum. I used to use Mylar, but I don't think it's active. You can check on that. So if you have a rack, you can check this website. It's everything you can find is in one hub inside the helium.com, which makes it uh, easy to track. So I think they have changed this since my last video. This was like a week ago. By the way, guys, thank you for the 1,000 subscribers. That would have not been achieved without you. So thank you so much. And I have no idea where did they put them. Helium host, hotspot chat, hotspot optimizer. So yes, this is one, Helium place. So this kind of gives you an idea. Now, if you want to look at how to visualize it even better, so we have Helium place. If you click on it, slow internet, very slow. So all I need you to focus is that if you can see with your own eyes the area that you're aiming for, that it has a lot of network, even if it's next to you or far. Now, to get it a far one, that's when you need a bigger antenna. If it's around you, then you can stick to the original one. You can go to the 4 dpi, 5.8 dpi, and so on and so forth. But if you want to go far, and let me just open the Explorer so you can imagine what I'm talking about. Okay, Explorer, and I'll show you some of the hotspots. Okay, just give me a second. It's loading. I'm gonna talk about Ottawa in Canada because I know the layout of the city. So I know the terrain, I know where the valley, I know where there's hills, when all that stuff. So, and I you can build it like you on your for your example. So uh, so here it's mountainous, right? And this side as well. Now this is kind of a valley because this is a river. So I'm right here. This is my hotspot. So if we click on it, see now what I'm using is a 7 dpi. And let me explain to you why there's a gap here. Okay? You can say, well, this is doing very well. Well, I have the missing gap here. And right in front of my antenna, there is a couple of trees. That's it. They're big trees. And I tried to take the antenna as much as I can up, and it would still face the trees. So therefore, I'm having this issue right here. Now, it doesn't affect the rest, which is fine. So, um, and the reason I use 7 dpi because one, when I purchased the Bobcat miner, there were barely around 15 hotspots, and they were all in downtown. So there were none around me. And that's what I'm trying to explain to you as well. Now, the second phase, like these guys here, all these 8 or 10, they came in around 3 days ago. So I expect, because I'm right at the end of the town, I'm the right west. So I expect in the few, probably days or weeks, this area will be all jammed up with hotspots. Now, I have one problem. I'm right down the hill, like I'm right in the middle. So you can see my antenna did not reach anywhere here. You get idea? So I'm right here. This is the hill. So I'm right in the center. So I can see everyone in front of me because I'm still in the middle of the valley of the hill, and I'm facing the valley, and it's right in front of me. But even with the 7 dpi, everyone on the top of the hill is getting jammed. The RF signal is getting jammed. It's not going anywhere. Just think about it like the trees. So the trees are in front of my antenna, and therefore it's spreading all these signals. The one that is crashing into the trees is just not passing. It does not penetrate it. And therefore, the same concept of the trees is the same concept that's happening here. Now, the reason I'm phasing to 5.8 dpi, it's the structure of the antenna will be better off around this circle. And the 4 dpi or 5.8 dpi, they're not bad. And I'll explain to you why elevation is the most important component. Because I have a 4 dpi right here. So this is 7, and you can see it's doing very well. But I have a 4 dpi is doing the same performance, a little bit less than the 7 dpi, but because of the elevation, it's right on top of a 12-story building. If it was a 20-story building, it would still probably get more because it has so much air just to spread. So these are the main concepts. So elevation is your key. The reason exterior antennas are better than interior is because the type of glass. So if you have a double glazed, if you have a soundproof glass, so if you're in a new building in downtown Toronto, for example, you'll most these buildings have double glazed or soundproof windows. So this will kill your antenna. Okay, so that's something you should consider. I don't know how many people here watching are living in downtown, but that's so it's very simple. Now you need to make sure that the internet is well connected to your device. So that's the first thing. You need to fix the relayed. I have two videos on how to fix them. They're very easy. Even if you're not a techie guy, you should be able to get it fixed. And then from your Helium is to your antenna is the best setup. Now, if you're gonna have a huge, it's better that you have Ethernet to your Helium, and from Helium, two things that I realized that they play a role. Do not let your Helium hotspot be exposed to the sun because it's already heats up. So if it's exposed to sun or you put it next to a heater or where anything that's generating heat, try to avoid them. It will burn your hotspot. So that's something that you need to consider. Other than that, if you guys have any, if you want me to check your Helium hotspot location, if you have any questions, um, we're gonna check some of these guys so we can see. Now these are the problems. I was planning to have one hotspot in downtown Ottawa, but it's already the hexes are jammed. Also, a side note, I did a video on that yesterday. Try to download or get access to the diagnosis of your hotspot. You can do that for the Bobcat miner. You can get the Bobcat miner IP through your app. And once you do that, you put that IP address on the browser and you will have access to your Bobcat miner. For for SenseCap, they have something called status. I'll show you really quick. Status.sensecap.mx.cloud. See if I click sign in, it shows me that it's not relayed. It shows me it's synced. It's 100% healthy. So I know there's nothing wrong with my hotspot, and that's a good sign. Something else to consider, it's the firmware. Now, you're gonna find sometimes like the Bobcat miner had some issues for the past 5 days. And if you have, the dashboard like this, you would know, okay, now there's nothing wrong with my hardware, your Helium hotspot. Is it something with the firmware or, Helium upgrading something? So there's nothing wrong with your hotspot that needs to be fixed. So just to let you know about this. Yeah, so for now, for people that are new uh, and they're wondering what kind of antenna should I use? There was one question that was asked. I asked him for his hotspot name. He hasn't sent it yet. But if I live here, it at Fitzroy Harbor, and you can see here, there are no hotspots. There's two here. So, and you can do this. You can measure the distance. You can just do one point and the second point. The reason you want to connect to this network because it's better than connecting to this network. It's just common sense. So if I click here, and it shows me it's 41 kilometers. So now I know that I need a strong antenna that can reach up to 41 kilometers. Now, for you, you have to make sure that there is a line of sight. And for you to do that, there's something called RF hotspot. RF. Okay, I'm gonna want this. I have a full video on how to use it. So if you go to my YouTube, there's not much learning curve. It's fairly simple once you watch the video. Hotspot updates. Okay, no. Let's see. Seriously. So no questions. I'm gonna have to use my glasses. So for you to, and this will, so I have all these videos. You can watch this one, and is it worth it? And this is the second part. And this is the best strategy to set up your Helium hotspot. So all of these will help you, but generally speaking, you have you have to do it very simple. Like I said in the beginning, the reason I'm here. Let me show it again because we have more subscribers now. So in case they missed it. So like I said, this is a valley right here, right? In the center next to the river is a valley, and the two hills are coming. So the other side is actually a mountain. But from my window, where the antenna is set, I can see the other side where you can see that I can see all of this. Now, once I can see it with my own eyes, that means the RF signal, the radio frequency signal, can see it. It's called the line of sight. Now, if you don't know your city, or you don't know the structure of your city, then you do use the RF hotspot. I'm gonna put a link just in case you guys didn't find it, but it's just common sense. If you can see it, your antenna will be able to see it, and therefore uh, your rewards will increase definitely. Now, again, I'll repeat this just in case for some people that came in. The reason I have a gap in here, this gap, it's because my antenna is facing two trees that are behind each other. So the signal could not penetrate. But you see, the antenna is sending so many signals because this is a 7 dpi antenna. And that was the plan because there were nobody around me. Now that in a month time, I think I will switch to 5.8 or 4 dpi, because I will connect to the network next to me, and I will compare both rewards. If the 7 DPI still makes me enough, or more than the 4 DPI, I'll definitely stick to the 4 DPI, the 7 DPI. So, so I guess nobody wants to check for me to check their hotspots. Okay. And the reason my antenna could not access this area is because I'm in the center of, like, I'm not in the bottom of the hill, but I'm right in the center. But now this in the back is going up, so my RF hotspot is just, you know, getting blocked by houses, trees, elevation of the hill. So all of these will make my hotspot go nowhere. I don't know if there are any questions. Oh, what's your? Okay, let me just get Brandon Lopez. What's your price prediction for end of year and total hotspots on the network? I'll be honest with you. Uh, the price prediction, it's not something that I like to discuss, but I'll tell you what I like to reveal. Helium is very powered by the community, so the community will decide. Since if let's assume that there are so many hotspots are jumping in, I mean, I assume we will have around 300,000 by the end of this year, while we're all sharing a 2.5 million tokens today, right? So the more deployed of heliums, the less we're gonna get. So how will this be played is depending on other investors becoming interested in helium. So let's assume that we're still getting the same zero point 0.5 or 1 HNT token a day. But what if the price of HNT goes up to 200? Now, does the helium team need to do something about it? No, because now you're earning, let's say, 0.5, and you're getting like $100 a day, because what matters is the amount of money. So I'm expecting that once the network, the whole picture, so we have to look at this, that once we have a solid network across cities and it's building up, and this is, we're talking about, I think, 180,000 or 170,000 today. By the end of this year, if we have 300,000, this will look crazy green, because we're doubling, right? And you can see Europe is doing very well, especially in London and UK. So what matters is investors coming in and users coming in. So if Google is interested, because Google was part of one of the seeds in Helium back in 2018, because Google needs their IoTs. So if we are assuming that we're having about 55 to 75 billion IoTs by 2025, these companies are going to use Helium or any other network, whoever provides this network. So Helium is the leader in this, if that makes sense. So if the investors and the users come and see, hey, Helium managed to deploy a network that is secured, it is cheap to use, and it has coverage all over. That will bring the value to Helium and will jack up the HNT price. So in terms of how many HNTs will earn, is there's a discussion now for a new HIP. It's a psychological thing. It will not affect your income, but it will affect how many HNTs, because a lot of people are complaining, hey, I'm making 0.5 HNT versus if I make 500 HNT, I'll feel much more better. So they're trying to do a calculation around this, and I think they've been discussing it. I think it's already out or something. I haven't checked on that, but that's one thing that that you will feel better. Oh, I'm making only 0.5, while hey, I'm making 500 HNT, you would feel better. So we'll see how they're going to do with that. But if you look at the network, that's what matters. If we get to build this green, that will attract companies to use the network, and it will bring investors to come. Not They will not come into crypto, they will come only to Helium, because they know this is the future. So, and that's why the Alameda came in. That's why all of these multi-coin are interested, and they've invested $111 million just 2 weeks ago. So I assume things will go will go crazy, because Helium is different than any other crypto, and I always say Helium is a special project because you're not competing with anybody. You're not saying I have, a project that will replace your banking system, and this centralized system will say I don't like you. No, because you're trying to hurt somebody. You're trying to take over somebody's work, and that's not going to happen. Helium is creating this from thin air. There's so much need for the IoTs, but they need a network. So I just imagine how powerful Helium can be in a year or two, and I think this is still a very young project. Today was a bad day. I have 9 witnesses, but nothing happens today. Can you look up my hotspot? Hotspot, fast charcoal. Okay, sure. Fast charcoal. Uh, I don't know if I'm tempted to just invest in etching instead of getting more miners, as the situations of miners is constant and rewards are going down. Um, well, yeah, yes and no. Um, Slim, can you send me your what kind of DPI you're using? For yams, I don't blame you to think that way. It depends on how the community will drive this. I'll tell you why. Because think about it, and this is really important to understand this game. Now, we are the Helium owners. We own these hotspots. Now, if I don't see gains in terms of cash, what that means, I'll be discouraged to talk to people about this. And that means the network will slow down. That's something that Helium doesn't want to. So, unless there is some kind of income or rewards that are worth it, that motivates me to stay on this game. So, wait, you never know what the community can do, because if they sense that, oh, if everybody's making 0.01 HNT, 0.3 in a full month, that's $4. And let's say the consumption of electricity becomes like $1 or something, and you're like, hey man, it's not worth it. Or let me try to sell my Helium hotspots. Helium will not just stand there and look at their network crumbling. It will not happen. I promise you anything, because that's why I prefer this than anything else. It's the community are well aware of the issues that are happening, and they're addressing it. So the progress is there. The community are tracking this. So you could do either way. This is not a financial advice. You want to invest. I do invest in HNTs, and I do still get some miners. And if the HNT goes up to 100 by the end of this year, then making zero point 0.5 is still feasible. So yeah, Slim, I like your setup. Um, this is Germany. I know Berlin very well, but I don't know which one is this. Um, the reason I say I know Berlin, because I know how the structure of the city is, where the hills, where the valleys, where the mountains where the big buildings are. So this one I'm not sure of, but I don't I think you're better off. Um, yeah, I think you should give it a shot to 5.8i. And like I said, if it dropped just all of a sudden from the number of witnesses, it's typical. Um, there's no constant number because the performance of the others can affect you too. So, um, but you're connected to good ones. I'm just surprised. Now, if you have the 4 DPI and DRAC introduced 5 DPI, so if you have elevations and good line of sight, the 5 DPI can make you cover this. And I would assume that in weeks, if not days, all of this will be all green right next to you. So you're making point 0.2. If you get 5 DPI or 4 DPI, I think you might get better results um, because you have a healthy network around you. You have to understand this. You have you're going for something far while you have some healthy hotspots around you, except for these two. I don't know why, but generally speaking, you should earn more. I earn. I used to earn 1.5 in just a few days ago, um, and today I think I'm around 2.07. So I'll give it a shot to 4 to 5 DPI. By the time you will get it at home, trust me, you're gonna see lots of green stuff. I can zoom in. It looks like industrial area, right? Yeah, this looks industrial. This looks like a stadium kind of thing, if I'm not mistaken. Yeah, so the 5.8 will give you good. And like if we click on this guy, the one thing that you want to make sure that your hex doesn't get more than 4 people. That will hurt you the most. So from going over this, it looks like you don't. There's it's like a suburb area kind of thing. So you're not expecting more on your hex. I would assume that's the case. Yeah. So yes, guys. If you're just watching this first time, again, it's if you have your hotspot name that you want me to look at it, you started 8 days ago. Okay. Also, make sure that your hotspot is connected to internet. You have it. It's not. It's if you put it with Ethernet, it's probably better, and you can check that if you have a Bobcat miner. I don't think you have a Bobcat miner. Otherwise, you would have had the 4 DPI, and there's no reason for you to buy the 5.8. So I assume you have either Colchip, Rack, or SenseCap. So if you have those, SenseCap, like I said, you can go to status.sensecapmx.cloud. It will help you understand what's going on from the internet to your device, to your performance. So if you understand, there's, you know, if you have a big cable loss, that will affect you. So make sure that the antenna is not very far from your Helium hotspot, and your hotspot is not very far from your internet. It has to make sense. And your antenna is not, if it's indoor, do not let it kind of, if you have a window that is double sided or it has a mesh, the bug mesh, that will kill your RF signal. Now, in your case, Slim, apparently you don't have that issue, but if you do have it, tweak them because they will increase your performance and therefore more rewards for sure. Okay, so any questions? I mean, at least you guys should not feel bad compared to people that are living in Manhattan, New York. Look at this. It is probably one of the ugliest spots that you can have your hotspot in. Um, See, just to give you an idea, like just to make you feel good, they're making in 30 days 1.8, 0, 0, 1.6. Now, this guy is making 18. You can see he's outperforming everybody. He's like 100 times what this guy is earning. And I'll tell you without even looking what he's doing. What he's doing is he is most likely, and I'll click on it right now, but most likely he went out of this network. And let's see. Hot, hot carb unicorn. See, going out of your network, this is your network, but you're all serving the same network. So if you're here and you're having your small hotspot, no, he's getting probably an 8 or 10 DPI with good elevation. Why do you need to do that? Because now this network is huge, it's highly saturated. So to perform better for the Helium network, and we're not talking about the Helium company, the network that's ours, you need to spread around. You go out of this network. So that's what he did. And you would assume he should be making and earning way more than this with all these witnesses, but it's killing him what's inside. Now, what Helium is community is saying, first of all, there's no priority for you if you were here before anyone else. You don't get a priority. What you need to do is now to replace your hotspot. So if you know somebody that lives here, you tell them, hey, I'm going to pay you or we'll split the share, whatever. So that's what Helium wants us to do because it is our can I put my 6 DPI outside my window without being ground? Obviously, no. The self, you don't want to risk it. I know you're trying to do a shortcut, but when it comes to antennas, there is even the possibility of 0.001 whatever. And if there's thunderstorms or whatever, and it will attract thunders, and it can cause huge loss and might do a lot of damage. So shortcutting is not a smart idea. Trust me. And by the way, if you guys look up in the Facebook Marketplace, or if you have something like Kijiji, we have in Canada something like Kijiji. If you search for Helium hotspot deployment, I found there are already companies that offer the service. They do the whole thing. They bring the pole. They do the whole thing, and they charge anywhere from 1,000 to 1,500. So if you're living like in the suburbs and you want the service, maybe you should look it up. You never know. So, guys, do you have any question now? always check the performance. Not always, but if you need to double check on your performance, like I said, if you have a sense cap, try to get this registered. Cesar, sorry for butchering your name, but I'm not wearing my Cesar blocks bulks. What is happening when I did not ground the antenna? Well, it's very simple. Now, the thunderstrike will hit your antenna, and the minimum it can do, if that happens, hopefully it doesn't, but if that happens, it will kill your hotspot, that's for sure. It will kill your antenna, and it might do shorts for your whole electricity in your house, and it can burn your house basically. So you don't want to play with that. So uh, be very careful when it comes to grounding. And the DPI doesn't change. Hmm. I don't get that question. Could you elaborate? Guys, if you want to do a shortcut, um, but you are constantly have access to your antenna, so it's okay to take it out and put it like outside the window, and because you know it's a sunny day or sunny week or sunny month and you're not expecting any thunderstorms, then fine, you can do that. But and then when it's something going bad or there's a thunderstorm, you can just open your window and bring it in. You can do that, but I don't think you can see a lot of difference unless you have soundproofed windows. Then yes, if you have double glazed windows and it's killing your antenna, then maybe this is. I don't recommend it at all. But if you have no other option, at least for now, then when I ground it, I have 5 point DPI now. When I do the ground, the DPI and witness will be better. When I ground, I have 5.8 DPI. When I do the ground, no grounding. If I understand your question right, grounding is protecting your antenna if it gets any strike from a thunder. That's basically it. It will not affect your performance or anything. It's a protection. That's as simple as it is. If you're talking about the 5.8 versus 7 DPI, like I said, I'll repeat this because maybe you just came in. I'm going to talk about mine because I know the structure of the layout of the city, right? So that's important. So just take this example and uh, try to see if it fits your criteria. Now I'm using 7 DPI, and this is the west end, and this is the east end. And if I do check the distance from here to here, it's 47 kilometers. So that's a 7 DPI. Now, do I need this 7 DPI? I'm not sure. I'm going to do another video. I'm expecting a 5.8 DPI coming tomorrow, and I will use that because the 5.8 will have more coverage. It will attract this one and this one. It will catch these guys. So I'm going to do comparison and see which one is better. And I think that's something that, if you guys should look up to as well, because spending at $50, $60, and it makes a huge difference or not. You can tweak here and there, but yeah, that's so the reason the antenna, now the 7 dpi will reach here 47 kilometers. Now a 6 dpi with a line of sight, it will not reach this far. That's how, what dpi's. And now there's another flow and the angles. So the 7 dpi have a 40 angle broadcast of RF. The less dpi, the more coverage. So the 4 dpi will have a full complete cover. Let me show you my other hotspot to explain the difference between a 4 dpi and the 7 dpi. Is it this one? Uh, you can see I'm outperforming everybody here. I'm doing 23 HNTs. And this is using a 4 dpi. But guess what? I have elevation. So elevation is king. And this is indoor 4 dpi, the original antenna that came in with the Bobcat Miner. Now, you can see I'm reaching with a 4 dpi. My highest one is 10 kilometers. I think this one is higher, is further. 14 kilometers, yeah, makes sense. So although they're saying it's about 10 miles, so I was able to reach this. But why did not I reach 10 miles or 14 kilometers with the rest? Because I have here, I'll show you exactly what's going on. See, see now this is the hotspot. Why didn't this go anywhere? Why did it stop at here and didn't go all the way here? Because this is the building, right? And this hotspot that I have is right in the end side of this building. So this is the building, this is where it starts, and this is the end. So my hotspot is right here, and it's concrete. So my wave, the RF signal, keeps on hitting concrete, till it leaves my building. There's nothing left. It reaches right here. It barely made it over here. So if we calculate it here, sorry. Now I'm quite damaged by the hex. See if the concrete, it could not even reach 1 kilometer, versus this is line of sight, like we showed it. It reached up to 14 kilometers. So there's the difference. Concrete will kill you. The trees will kill your signal. So the line of sight elevation is your key. Now the rest can be played with, but you can see here that I can look at downtown Ottawa, and if there are buildings, so here I have 2 buildings facing this building right here. So this one, it did not even pass, and there's just quite, a small hole between 2 buildings that managed to go and penetrate it. So that's what you need to do. So by the way, one of the things that I'm trying to do, and things that you should uh, try to do as well, if you have a lot of hexes inside your building. Now, like I said, I have it right at the end of the building. What if I manage to move the hotspot to the other part of the building, and I manage to get away from these hotspots? Because we are under 300 meters, so we're eating up each other. So what I can do is I can contact the guy, and if you guys know this app, can I rewatch this video after live? Yes, I will save it. Yeah, I will save it. So this is A technique that I will be uh, was it that I'm trying to do? Not hotspotty. It's app. Yeah. This is a very useful website that I'm gonna do for my downtown hotspot. I'll tell you why. You see that's red. Why it's red? Because we have three inside the same hex. So we're eating up each other. So what I'll do is I'll see hotspotty, right? See, it is so red because look, now what I can do is in the hotspotty, I'm gonna click on this. First of all, what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna try to pull this hotspot. You can see here. So I'm here. What if I take this hotspot all the way here and see if we manage to save ourselves? And through the hotspotty, I'm gonna contact him and tell him, hey, listen, we're hurting each other. How about you pull your hotspot and take it all the way here? Somehow we need to find a solution. But I'm considering this. So when I click on in here, I get the reward scaling. He's not making money. He's affecting me. Hey, let's resolve this. So what I can do is contact owner and send him a message, right? So that is something on the hex if you're having the hex. Now, one of the good stuff about the app Hotspotty is you can check your reward scales, you can check the witnesses and see what's affecting you. Is it the HEP 15, the HEP 17, and you see which resolution. So the hexes can impact your transmit scale, which is super important. So this is another website that I recommend everybody to use, whether you want to use the contact owner or to get an overall idea what's wrong with your performance. Like you have the perfect setup, but you don't understand why the transmit scale is very low, or you don't know what's happening in your hex. So this is a very useful tool. It's called app.hotspotty.net. I'm going to leave the link in below in the description. And yes, I think so. If you fix your hex, now I used to think, by the way, that this is a beautiful hex because what I have here is a river, and this is a train station, and there will be nobody. So unfortunately, this guy came in the same day I think I came in into this building, and we have another one, but these guys are not doing well, and their transmit scale. I hope they're watching this video. If they are, you need to fix a lot of stuff, my friend. So, um, so one of them is at 268 meters. So he's probably in the kind of 25th, 30th floor. This one is not going anywhere because of his height. So he's probably on 6th floor. So, anyways, guys, I think if you guys don't have any questions, can I rewatch? Am I getting all the questions? So, make sure that you always check the healthiness of your hotspot. Stay away from trees, buildings, double glazed mesh, bug mesh. They will kill your hotspot antenna. Having a strong antenna doesn't mean anything if you are just wondering. It depends on the location and the layout of where you are and who you're trying to connect with. If you have a line of sight and they are very, very far, then yes, you need the bigger antenna. But do you have a line of sight? I showed you in the beginning that even with 7 dpi, a couple of trees killed part of my signal. So with a 7 dpi. One of the signals reached 47 kilometers, while one gap where the two trees were there, they could not penetrate even 5 meters. So even 7 dpi could not happen. That what you need is elevation to overcome this problem. So and I showed you here with my hotspot, I have a 4 dpi, but I have elevation. It got up to 14 kilometers, and I believe it's reached at one point to Canada, and that's way more than 14 kilometers. I think it's about 20 kilometers. So if I was at the 20th floor or 30th floor, I would have been getting more for sure, because elevation is king. Now, if you want to install like a pole outside your house, you have to do other calculations like cable loss, uh, Ethernet, loss, because unless you want to do wireless and you make sure that it's getting good internet, then that's something you should consider. So I'm gonna look if you guys have any more questions. I changed the antenna from 1 to 5, but the miner doesn't see it. What can I do to change this? Well, Clint, I'll be honest with you. I have the same problem, and it is weird problem. Actually, it's not even a funny problem. I bought from Seed Studio, from SenseCap, so that I got the original one. So there's no reason for it doesn't work. So if I bought something, Chinese or something from what do you call it? From Amazon, that is it's not original. So I have the original 7 DPI with the SenseCap. Now, what I did is I did not screw the antenna well from both sides, where they were a little bit loose. So make sure you double check on that. And sometimes the antenna can be broken. Sometimes the cord that connects can be broken. But what I did when I did it the first time, I did not screw it in all the way. So, and if you have the sense cap or for example, the Bobcat miner, especially the Bobcat miner, it's very hard to reach and screw it in. So always double check on that. And if you have like people that come across it, they try to look at it, and you show it to people, it loosens up quite fast. So that's something. Thank you, you reminded me of this. And by the way, before I forget, do not unplug or plug the antenna while your helium is connected to the AC, to electricity. Do not. It can burn your helium hotspot. So that's a quick note. Um, what? Okay. If that does not work, Clint, uh, Clint, what are you using? Oh, rack, right. So rack, unfortunately, I tried to discuss this in the Discord, and one of them said there is no diagnostic from rack. I don't know how accurate this information is, but if you try to look around, like I don't have rack, so I don't know what to look for. But if what you need is a dashboard, so the dashboard, it will show you what's going on exactly with your hotspot. Now, there's the Helium hotspot app can also gives you report. Yeah, but I find the dashboard is way more accurate, and it gives me a clear idea. Now with Rack, I think they're back on track now. They're happy they got the things moving. But whoever you bought from the antenna, uh, maybe you should give them a call if nothing works. So just do the normal things. Just try to screw them in from both sides while it's not connected to AC. And if that doesn't work, then take out the cord and see if you can find another cord, or just tweak it. Just see, like, you have screwing in the antenna to the helium hotspot. What else can affect it? It's just either the antenna broken, the cord is broken, or they're not tightened up. It's as simple as that. Yeah. does have high loss cord garbage. Depends on your setup. Like mine is I think about 20 centimeters. There's no high loss, and to be honest, I taped my antenna onto the window. Now I got the base, but before that, I just taped it and it worked fine, and there was no issues for the 7 DPI. The, this crazy guy, it was taped on the window. Didn't buy any crazy stuff to make it look good. So, oh, not a question. Just letting you that when it comes with terrible color. Oh yeah, yeah, yeah. I totally agree. So that's why when I bought mine, I bought from Seed Studio. And if you guys live in the US or Canada or Europe, I don't recommend that you buy it from them. Try to find a local. I'll tell you why. There's nothing wrong with the quality. Don't get me wrong, but I paid a lot for shipping because they send it by DHL and they charged me later and I was shocked by the price. And then the customs was not cheap and I ended up paying I think 180 bucks while I could have got one here for 100 bucks from Facebook from people. A lot of people are that used to have 7 DPI, they don't use it anymore, just like me. When I said I will be using 5.8 to 4 DPI in the next 2 3 weeks, so I'll be selling my 7 DPI, and that's what's going to happen with the rest. So some guy that lives in here or the way here, he wants a 7 DPI, so he's going to order from Seed. It's going to cost him a lot. Might as well buy mine for 80 bucks or whatever. But you will find sellers. That's the whole point. I bought my 5.8 from was it Rack or Nebra? They were good priced, and they shipped after a week. And again, I paid taxes and shipping, and yeah, it wasn't cheap as well. So I ended up for three 5.8 DPI. I paid around 320 Canadian, so 110 each, just to give you a clear idea of what you should anticipate. So, all right, guys, if you guys don't have any more questions, if you guys have Bobcat miners, I recommend that you watch the video that I made yesterday. If it's not syncing, if it's syncing, then you don't have to worry about it. But there was a firmware problem, and there was a Reddit article from Bobcat Miner. If you watch the video, you will understand what I mean. So as long as you guys are connected and you're syncing, then you should not worry about anything else. All right, guys. I think I'm gonna let you go. If you guys are done with your questions. So then, if you guys, I'm trying to set up a Telegram group. It's driving me crazy. It's not allowing me to give permissions for users to comment. I don't know how to do it. I've tried to figure it out. It's not happening. But I think it's better that you guys can join the Telegram group because we can talk for any immediate, problems. If you guys have any issues, something that I'm aware of that I can help with, and it's also a two-way channel, so we can both talk and whatever. So once I solve that issue, but you can join for now. I'm going to put the link in the description, and I'll be very happy to see you guys. And thank you so much for getting the 1,000 subscribers. Lots of respect for you guys. Thank you so much, and we'll see you on the next stream. Take care, guys.